again, everyone. This is your favorite Bloody New York tour guide, Stefani Giovanni of Bloody Bitchin, Brooklyn, where we take you through New York's most violent and frightening secrets, which still haunt people to this very day. Today, we're talking about none other than the vicious, bloodthirsty, psychotic serial killer of the 1920s and 1930s, the Butcher. If you haven't heard of him, well, you're about to have your mind blown and neck sweating with fear. The Butcher, whose real name was Dennis Collins, a Scottish man who... What? Betty, don't interrupt me when I'm recording. What the fuck? Cut that too. An Irish man who came to the United States with much of his past lost to history, except the bloody fingerprints he left all over the East Coast. But this tour is about gory New York. So we're going to talk about the Butcher's final days and how he was stopped thanks to another immigrant, an unassuming, fragile, pencil-pushing guy, totally lost to history, except a single name recorded in a shaky pencil in a police report: Arnold Fester. The journey began here in Grand Central Station, where the Grizzly Butcher was caught on the trail of Arnold Fester after a hit was put on him for killing a man's prize goat. We have records of a bloody train fight where 3 lives were lost or something like that. Arnold barely outsmarted the guy, especially since he apparently was a real nerd and not much of a fighter, and Butcher was apparently like 7 feet tall. Arnold got the drop on him though, pushing Butcher off the caboose. Enraged, Butcher swore revenge on the Englishman forevermore. The Butcher wasn't about to be outsmarted by a nobody English guy. Using his quick wit, he followed the trail of Arnold to the Hotel Tudor, where he could have his bloody revenge. Arnold, not the smartest crayon in the box, gave his real name at the hotel, making it easy for Butcher to follow him along. Butcher found Arnold's whereabouts when his grandpa come looking for him at the hotel, Daniel Seltzer. So, Professor, you're an expert on the bloody Bitchin history of New York. Can you tell us about how the Butcher was one of the most likely Jack the Ripper suspects?
Miss Giovanni, I told you when you called last time, there is no evidence Jack the Ripper was ever in North America.
Until the Butcher came to New York in 1902.
There is no evidence of that. Dennis Collins would have been a child. Jack the Ripper was in the 1880s in London. The Dennis Collins killings...
Butcher, it's more scary.
All right, this is goodbye.
Even today, the sound of the Butcher's name is enough to make people flee in fear. While Arnold and his grandpa enjoyed a peaceful tea-time lunch, Butcher made his plans. Easily, he found the house on Park and 81st Street, which we have found perfectly preserved here. If you lean in close enough to the door, you can see the marks of blood splatter. The Butcher had learned knocking was the way to gain entry from Grandpa Seltzer. But Butcher didn't even wait. He took his chainsaw and began whamming down that door like it was a tree. He went so fast he sliced old Grandpa Seltzer across the back. But Butcher didn't care. Butcher didn't give a fuck. He was here to do his job, killing Arnold, and if anyone got in the way, it was their fault. Little did he know, this was how he sealed his fate. After jumping out the window, Arnold... What? It's Arthur? You're just fucking telling me now, Jesus fuck... Arthur jumped up this very fire escape. They say you can still see his blood from the chase on it. Eventually, Butcher cornered the wily English boy and threw him down the stairs to a rickety old basement. But like a cockroach, Arthur survived just to be interrogated by the Butcher. Arthur's life was only spared when the phone rang, and Butcher learned Grandpa Seltzer was still alive. A man who took true pride in his work. Butcher wasn't about to let any guy walk away from his chainsaw. He made his way to Lenox Hill Hospital to finish the job on poor Grandpa Seltzer. But he made his fatal mistake, leaving Arthur alive in his harem. Master of disguise Butcher quickly took on the guise of a nurse to sneak around the hospital. He cornered Grandpa Seltzer, pale, sweaty, and barely clinging to life in the men's ward. And that is where the conflict of the century took place. With bloody wrists from his Houdini-like escape, Arthur screamed out to the Butcher in the middle of the men's ward. This is our only eyewitness account on Arthur. They say he looked like a man from the woods, feral, hungry, pissed the fuck off seeing his grandpa threatened. Some say his eyes glowed with hatred. Others say he dripped blood. He was gnarly, covered in scars on his face and neck, proving he was none other than a famous mob boss from England. History books won't tell you that, neither will the papers, but we will here at Bloody Bitch in Brooklyn. Butcher had messed with the wrong boy. By shit-talking Butcher's dad, Arthur distracted Butcher and threatened to add him to his kill count of over 70 people. Butcher threw his chainsaw at Arthur, but missed, and that was how the corpse got him. Although arrested, the wily Butcher could not be tamed for long. But just as Bobby Pinky broke out of jail swearing to get vengeance on Arthur Fester and complete his assassination job. He tracked Arthur all the way to Red Hook, Brooklyn, the most famous for the IKEA. But in the 1930s, it was most famous for the old granary, where butchers tracked Arthur to some creepy cult meeting. Accounts vary of how it went down. Some say Arthur jumped the butcher and fought him right in front of everyone. Others say the butcher got the jump on Arthur and made him nearly jump off the balcony. He was shaking so much in his little boot. There was a shootout of the century. Blood everywhere. Blood on the floor. Blood on the wall. Blood in the ceiling. Blood you could have swam in it. It was so much fucking blood. At least 50-something people died, all caught in Butcher and Arthur's duel to the death. In the end, Butcher made the fatal mistake of getting distracted by his favorite song playing on the radio. Then Arthur struck, blasting him in the head with his shotgun. Brains, bones, blood, guts, gore flew everywhere. Butcher was now a bloody pulp, adding to the centuries of blood that filled the New York bricks. Arthur escaped and was never caught for his crimes. Expect these kind of stories and more in Stefani Giovanni's Bloody Bitch in Brooklyn tour. Book now on our website for only $69.99 per person, but book with caution. We aren't responsible for your nightmares of the blood that drips from every single 20 inch of New York City.